Ely time, and we want to welcome you to the second portion of our Live on Wednesdays from the North American Bear Center, right? And Sharon's going to come in here in a minute. She's coming because we get to do today what? What do we call that?
We do the Curator's Corner. Okay.
The Curator's Corner, and we want to say hi to everybody out there in the World Wide Web and PTZ land. We want to say hi to everybody across seas. It's kind of neat going live. But again, we've got live at the NABC, and we're really excited to be able to start this year's program. Second time now already, and I think our lips are probably still moving with our faces.
It was when we did a testing, but I said good morning. It should have been good afternoon. Sorry.
That's okay. It's a beautiful day here in Ely, Minnesota. I'm sure everybody out there has seen on the other cams, whether it be the PTZ, the TED cam, the Mound cam that had cobwebs in front of it. Now they're gone. I'm sure you've all seen how beautiful it is out here. We've had a stretch of weather that's just been phenomenal, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's almost scary. No rain.
Yeah, believe me, we started to wonder if we were going to have to start building a boat so we could float around, correct?
That's right. We were getting directions from the Bible.
Well, we'll say that. But anyway, we just want to welcome everybody. Today we're coming live from the Cub Room, the kids' Cub Room at the North American Bear Center, correct?
That's correct, and looking forward to Give Men, which Scott is going to talk about here in a minute, of what we're going to be doing differently in here.
Well, right now, as we're in the only part of the North American Bear Center that we have not touched, will be touched. I know we talked about it last year, and I just want to give everybody out there that's watching today a heads up that last year part of our fundraiser was the Cub Room and really going after some dollars, but we found out after all of our research and really trying to be fiscally responsible for all you out there that donated so graciously, I should say, to us, that redoing our Cub Room is going to cost a little bit more than we had figured. So down the road here, before the Give Men start, we'll be breaking news to you on what our new goal will be. But I got to tell you folks, we're going to go for a very, very professional-looking, fun, educational, exciting for the kids type Cub Room, correct?
That's correct. When we started in 2007, this was the best we could do with our resources that we had. And now it's time to get into the future here and upgrade with some things that kids know how to do that in 2007 it was, yeah, pretty much we didn't know how to do. So it's time for upgrades and a whole new ball game here for this room. It's going to look great.
Yeah, and for all the people that put such effort into it at the start of the Cub Room has done a phenomenal job. It really has. I mean, I know there's a lot of love and care that went into building the room the way it is today. And honestly, kids today still do have fun in this Cub Room.
Oh, they do, and you can tell how used it is. I mean, if you could focus on a few different areas here, you would see the total use of this room, thousands upon thousands. And I would beg to say maybe even into the 20,000s, if not more, children have passed through this room and through that den over there, plus a few adults.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to give the microphone to Sharon for just a second as I go grab one of our bears, because I don't think that you folks have probably seen this particular bear. So I'm going to grab it real quick and show you and then tell you a little story, and then we're going to get on to the Curator's Corner, and Sharon's got some really cool questions to be answering for everybody out there. So hold on just a second, Sharon, you talk.
Okay, I'm going to talk, Scott. I have no idea what I see what he's doing here. Okay, this poor guy. This poor guy has had more instructors, more educators, more children lay on it. He has no more stuffing, and he's had some remakes done to him with more stuffing, and he's had an operation or a few also, and he just can't keep his head up. Even when we put more stuffing in him, he just does not keep his head up very well. So this guy's been here 10 years too, and he really... that was pretty pathetic, but we'll try Ted here. But here's Scott.
You know, the funny thing is as I look at this big old bear here, this stuffed bear, I have seen and witnessed some pretty humorous things. Judy Thone, if you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. I've seen probably some of the best Olympic swan double-summy flip dives into this bear off of the reading area up there. Kids actually standing on top of a railing and doing a swan dive into this bear. This bear has survived. This bear is a survival bear.
And let's not forget when Judy Thone and Donna Rogers decided to sew his butt up. He really, we didn't know if he was delivering a cub or what, but they did a phenomenal job of getting him patched up.
Well, there it goes. We were supposed to keep this kid and family friendly, and she had to talk about the poor bear. But, you know, everybody gets a surgery every now and then, and I have noticed he's done quite well. You know? And do we ever name this bear?
No, actually, no, he does not have a name.
Ha-ha, guess what? Got you out there. We've never named this bear. And this bear's been here how long?
10 years.
10 years with no name. So that's a no-name bear. Wow.
He's a generic.
I want to know how that got by all you guys out there. But either way, you know, it's all fun. And we've got the kids that always can look forward to something pretty neat. But I will tell you that our area is going to be done up very, very nice, very professional. We're going to be excited to be able to show you some stuff that we've got going right now for the Cub Room. And thanks to all you out there and all your great ideas that have came in, we're able to incorporate some of that stuff into some of the basic design. We're going to have, I want to call it kind of a very early prototype to be able to show you at Give to the Max Day. And we also are going to have a special guest here that has been designing that'll be able to visit with us, and we'll ask him questions and introduce you to the group that's done it. They've also done the four-season display in the back. They've done the camping exhibit that we got at the North American Bear Center. They've done a great job, haven't they? They've
done a super job. And just to let anyone know that might be planning on coming up, we just added some bird song to our camping exhibit, and it makes everything just kind of blend together here.
Yeah, I know Dr. Rogers was in this morning, and he was asking about the sounds. We want to thank, if Marty, if you're watching out there, Martin, thank you so much for getting those sounds together. Martin Stewart, who works with, I believe, the BBC, correct? And he's a sound expert out there, and he made all these sounds for us just like he did in the Four Seasons display. And we've actually got it going right now, and it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really kind of neat to walk under the tree that kind of hangs over, and then you hear the birds, and you think you're actually in the forest sometimes.
So we want you to keep watching our website. That's going to be coming up new too here in the very soon future. And watch for the date. We're going to be sending out some information. We're going to be doing email blasts. Oh, I'm really talking bad here. We're going to be doing some email blasts out there and let you know to save the date for Give to the Max Day, which is November 16th. November 16th is save the date. We start at midnight. Actually 11:59 on the 15th, but we'll be here about 11:30, and then it goes into the 16th. And we've got some surprises up our sleeves, little ones, but we do have surprises. We're not going to let ourselves get as tired and crazy as we have in the past, because sometimes we don't remember things we said, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
You know, and that's where actually your lips moving different from your face might have helped.
That could be too.
But I'm going to just say hi to everybody out there, and thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Sharon, and I'm going to walk away and let you answer a bunch of questions that were sent in by email, text, where else? Mostly emails? Okay. And we're going to go over, Sharon's going to go over those questions for you, and she's going to answer them, I would guess, fairly quickly, because you got quite a few of them, correct?
We have many, and for those of you, if I don't quite get them answered as what you would think I can answer them, I'm going to also put them in Bear News this weekend, so that you'll have the answers that you would like to hear, I guess.
And Sharon has promised with her soft, low voice to talk louder and to hold the microphone up close, because she does have a soft, loud voice. Although that sounds kind of odd to say it that way, but she does. So I'm going to turn it over to her, and thank you so much for being live at the NABC, October 2017. Sharon, here you go.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, all of you, for tuning in. And I'd like to also thank our volunteers out here that are addressing this and sending it out. For Merle for bringing this great broadcast so that our lips are moving with our with the picture and our words. So This year, at the end of the year, we had some very dedicated folks. Everyone's dedicated that works here, our bear educators, our interns, both summer and fall. Thank you very much for what you've been doing for our bears. But I did ask the bear educators to write a little testimonial. And although I can't read all of them, we're going to try to get to all of them by the end of the month, which is only a couple more left here. Before I answer the questions, I did want to read one. And this one is from Kathy. I'm not going to mention last name. You'll know who you are when I read it. So I'm just going to go over it real quick here. It started when I was watching Holly Denkamp while she was hibernating the first winter at the NABC. I watched all spring and decided I wanted to go see her while she was still little. I drove to Ely at the end of July in 2014. I fell in love with the place. I had listened to the broadcast, so I knew all the bears' backstories and about the enclosure. I was up on the deck talking about the bears to some visitors. People asked if I worked there, and I said no. They told me that I should, which got me thinking, which can be very dangerous, according to my husband. I saw that they were offering a bear ed class in 2015. My husband said, go for it. I applied and was interviewed by JT. I told her my husband would be coming with me. She told me to have him apply too. The rest is history. He really wanted just to go fishing, but the more he worked with the bears and got to know them, the bears, he loved them too. Great people to work with. We love retirement, being able to do things that we like. We like talking to visitors about the bears, and we have learned so much about the bears. I really wish I had known now what I know, known then what I know now about the bears when we were hosting in Yellowstone and helping with bear jams. Thank you for letting us be a part of the bear team. The bear team here, we call it the bear care team for a better word, because we do take care of the bears and we do provide them all with care. And it's not only my privilege to take care of the bears, but it's also my privilege to be able to educate and teach our interns and our bear educators all about them, all about their behaviors, their personalities, the little quirks, what they like, what they don't like. And believe me, they do have likes and they have dislikes also. So now I'd like to get to some of the questions. And as I said earlier, they're going to let me know when I run out of time here. But for practical purposes and to give you a better answer, I'm going to put this in the Bear News along with what's going on here with our bears this week. So for my personal part of this, for some of you that have asked some personal questions about some of the things that I do as a curator, I'm going to also address that in the Bear News because it's a little more complicated than most people think. From Marge, have you ever been frightened when you are interacting with the bears? There's only one bear that taught me respect. Not that I don't respect all the bears, but one bear taught me respect. One bear taught me that she could be pretty scary if she wanted to. And that bear, that is Honey Bear. Honey Bear taught me many, many things about personalities. She taught me many things about how to interact with bears that really don't like you. And it took a great deal of fortitude on my part and gratitude for her allowing me to be a part of her life. But she is the only bear that ever taught me that bears can be kind of scary sometimes if they don't want you to address them. So I'll talk more about this later. And one of the other questions is, has there ever been a time when I didn't really want to come to work? No. Our staff can tell you I always want to come to work. They have to beat me away from the door. but it's always a privilege and an absolute pleasure to be able to work here with the bears. Now, I'd like to address some of the questions that you folks ask about. If you could ask the bears a question, what would it be? And for many of you, including Julie and Becky by name here, Elizabeth, Christine, I think, Michael, for all of you that ask if you could give Ted a hug or sleep with him, no, that's not possible. Ted is a very sweet bear. He's a very nice bear. He loves people. He loves to be talked to. He loves to have attention. And he loves to have his head pat, and he loves to receive food. But I'm not so sure about a bear hug. I believe besides his owners, the only person he's ever really hugged is Dr. Rogers. And it took some doing to get Ted's paws away from around him, because Ted just wanted to roll around and wrestle with him and have a good time. So as for hugging him or sleeping with him, I don't think that would be a good idea. But talking to him and listening to his gentle grunts is just a perfect way of people getting to know Ted and Ted getting to know people. And yes, when we deliver his food, he does get a pat on his head or a pat on his back, and that's something he's come to expect. And that's why we do it, because Ted indicates to us in his facial expressions, which brings up another question. Somebody asked, do bears have facial expressions, and how many are there? Well, bears can show happiness, because Elsa Poulsen told us and showed us in her book that bears smile. And if you watch a bear, they're pretty happy most of the time. Our bears can get angry. They can be guilty, such as when my sweet Holly took the trail cam down and chewed it up. And she wasn't being accused of anything. I just called her to see if perhaps she would bring it to me, which I knew she wouldn't. But the guilty expression that bear had on her face and hiding behind a tree was priceless. She knew what she did. She knew that she shouldn't have taken the camera, but I'm sure that she had a lot of fun tearing it apart. We tried very hard to get some of the video and pictures off of that, but she had chewed the card up too much and it wasn't possible to save anything. Another expression is when they're sad, or when they're disgusted with us. That's another look. And as Dr. Rogers says, many of things that you see in a bear's face is directed in their eyes, and their eyes are so very expressive. And that's really how we tell many, many things here, is what the bears are feeling, what's showing us is in their eyes. Another question from one of our viewers was about Ted's meds. Do you think, Ted, that you're getting enough medications? Well, Ted would answer this question this way. I trust my veterinarians and I trust my bear care team, because they know me, they see me every day, and my veterinarian comes to me whenever I need her. And so she adjusts my medication, and I am not in pain. I take my meds just like I'm supposed to, and my good mom, she makes sure that I have lots of tuna for that meds to be mixed up in, because as you know, I would spit it out if they pop it into a grape. So she mixes it, our bear care team mixes it up with tuna, and that tuna is something I like, and I can't taste that bitter taste, and so I take my meds every day. Another question was, one asked, bear's fur, is it soft? Well, bears have two types of fur. They have the undercoat that protects them and keeps them warm and insulates them, and it's very soft and very, very thick. They also have what you see out there when you see their beautiful coats and how shiny they are. That coat is called the guard hairs, and that protects them and sheds the rain and the snow off them, but it's an insulating undercoat that keeps them very, very warm. And that's thick and it's comforting to them, and as the winter continues, as the cold comes, the coat gets heavier. Now, needless to say, they also get an ample supply of wonderful foods, too. those foods help them with their fats. And the fats provide that insulation and helps them get through the hibernation period that they hibernate through, which here is about 5 months right now. We're soon waiting to see when Lucky's going to go in. Holly is sticking very, very close to the den. Actually, she only comes out to get her food and goes back in. And if any of you, I guess the cameras aren't up yet. I'm not sure if they're up for her yet. But they are getting their, Holly is getting her dinner in a bag because she's already taken 2 bowls into her den. And I'm not going to be the one that's going to go in and ask her for them back. So we give her her bag lunches, and she enjoys them because she gets to rip them apart if she makes it to the den with it. They usually tip over and tear before she gets to that point, and then she has to eat off the ground. But if she's successful enough to get it into the den, then we only have to clean up paper, and we don't have to worry about her chewing up any more bowls. Excuse me. Another one of your questions was, how many dens has Tasha started? Well, or how many dens has Tasha dug? Well, right now she's up to 4, I believe. She started one behind the deadfall, or beside the deadfall, which is directly behind the pond. And she's probably in a good 2 feet, but it filled up with water because we've had so much rain. She abandoned that and went to the rear, kind of the, I want to say the northeastern part of the den, which is directly straight back from the falls. All the way to 6 feet from the fence line, there's some rock encroachments back there. And she has dug twice back there. One, she did run into some rocks, and one she's pretty successful in doing, so she may continue with that. The other part that we think that she's probably going to den in is directly underneath the cabin den. We did put straw in there about a week and a half ago, and she left it right in the front until about 3 days ago she moved it over to the side, which is where it would be if you're looking from Ted's den. It would be to the right of that camera. So she has piled the straw right there, and she has not incorporated it underneath yet, but the area underneath that den, underneath the cabin den, she can den there. It's deep enough, and it only will require her to have to crawl in there and rest. We have been giving her some different types of browse so that she can include that into her den, along with straw and some ground matter, which consists of small twigs and leaves and some cedar. So she is currently working on that, but where the little one is going to den, we're not sure. There is no evidence at all that she is looking at the dug den at this point. She does rest up on top of it because there are areas where she can rest, but there's no activity at all inside the den. So as we go forward here, as Scott mentioned, we are going to be doing quite a bit of activity in this cub room, and it will be new and modern and just futuristic when we come back in the spring, and hopefully it will be done then. Our bears will be happy to see everybody as they are pretty much saying good night right now. Their eyes are very, very heavy and they're very lethargic. And you can even see that Ted's slowing down a lot. And he's usually our holdout until November. But he is currently slowing down quite a bit. There was one question that I wanted to answer for Cindy. And it's kind of four. It was a question for each one of our bears. Does Ted miss honey? I'm sure that somewhere, if we could see in their memories, he probably does. But I can't say that for sure. But I do know that they all grieved when Honey passed away. Also, for Tasha, does Tasha know she's sweet? You betcha she knows she's sweet. And she uses it to every advantage she can. Scott's shaking his head. He knows. She absolutely knows. When she wants a back rub, she does everything except stand on her head to get it. For Holly, yes, she'll probably den by herself, and I think she wants to, but we're going to see if she maybe will forgive Lucky too. As for Lucky, he's just feeling down right now, so we'll see what happens to him. Hold on just a second. I'm going to give you the Scott.
Lucky may be feeling down, but he's not out. He's actually doing quite well, so we don't want anybody out there to think that he's like really down. He's just kind of like getting tired, barely dragging himself along. That teenager thing is really stepping up to the plate, right? But you know, we've went quite a long time, Sharon. You've actually almost 1.5 hours total we have. Yeah, it's almost, in fact, you went so long I got a conference call that I got to make shortly here. They're probably calling us already. It's for Give to the Max for our planning session. But you know, we just happen to have a special guest that just walked in the front door. If we can get him over here. And perhaps we can, but he don't seem to be, he's responding now. He's coming in the wrong way. He don't know which way to go. We, earlier this week, switched the entrance and exits so we could mess Dr. Lynn Rogers up. So, you know, he always does best when things are unplanned. He loves surprises, and that is our own Dr. Lynn Rogers, the founder of the North American Bear Center. You just happened to come in here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Your timing is?
Perfect.
Impeccable.
Impeccable.
Yeah, that's right. We got a great group out there. Sharon's been talking for almost a half hour.
No.
How many?
About 4.
You're worse than me carrying on with answers.
No way.
Oh,
No way.
almost as bad as me.
No, as good as you.
As good as me.
Because there's nobody I know that's better than you that can tell the same story 150 times and it's interesting every time.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you.
At least I'm pretending it is. But anyway, we want to say hi to him here with Jim,
Yeah.
and you guys are going to look at some exhibits here, correct?
We're going to walk around the Bear Center, and he's good at pointing out areas for improvement, and we're going to be listening to him.
Wow, we're going to listen to him. In other words, we'll hear him. We won't necessarily listen. I love to use that one always.
Right, and I do have an open mind.
Yeah, as long as it's his idea. You know.
Become my idea.
Oh.
No, what I
I don't know how
say,
I like that.
what I always say is I might not have the best ideas in the world, but I know a good idea when I hear it.
Well, I think we'll leave you all with that, and we'll say thanks to Dr. Rogers for coming on and just saying hi.
Thank you for fun here.
We like to have fun, and we've been talking about our cub room and how we're going to update it.
Boy, and I am so thankful for the people out there that are willing to listen to us.
Well, why don't you tell them all how much you appreciate them real
Okay.
quick.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
And it's
me, Bear.
all righty with that. We're going to sign off and say we'll see you next Wednesday, and we'll see what Sharon has up her sleeve. Thanks again, and we thank you all for being here. Goodbye.
Thank you.